Part 6. Don't join the club. I don't discover the law of 250 on my first day as a salesman. It took me a few years to work out. I cannot guess how much it cost me in lost customers and their friends and relatives and co-workers. I have to admit that even in recent years I had blow in once in a while when somebody makes a remark about dogs or wolves, but something my efforts to cool my heart selling blood don't work. I did learn an important lesson very easily in my career. Don't join the club. Most salesmen learn it on their first day in a new place but soon forget it. What it means in this. Don't become a part of what we call the drop ring or the bell ring in the place where you work. That is where all the guys get together in the morning and spend their time discussing what they did last night or what their wife was complaining about at breakfast or some other subject that has nothing to do with work. Everybody knows what I am telling about. A salesman comes up the crowd and says, "Did you hear about Funny James?" Phil James was a guy that worked there 10 years ago and nobody knows him. But they listen as he tells about how Phil's had an accident or win the lottery. What for? How much money does that make you? Then the coffee wagon comes around and everybody starts filling waters to and see what turn it is to pay this morning. This day is going by and pretty soon it's all getting toward lunchtime. Now the question is, where are we gonna cut? Somebody maintains a place and then they agree they take a vote and finally they go to lunch. Actually at a place where other salesmen go, and so they are not likely to meet anybody who can help them earn a nickel. After lunch, there is more time lost with stories and talk about who wants warm how much for the meal before the long day is gone, and so is any chance to build your business. Remember, it's your business no matter when you work for what you sell, and the better you build it, it's more if the people you sell become your customer. Every minute you spend looking for ways to avoid working costs your money. You went to tell to me you have heard that before. But if you are part of that public group of salesmen hiring out of the front door, you are not using what you know because you cannot make money hanging out with the boys. Learn from your experience. I say that you are already known that if you have been a professional salesman for any length of time, all you have to do is think back to the time you first come to work and your present place of employment. Remember, when you didn't know any of the guys, you felt a little lonely. There was nobody to tell to. It was so hard to look things to do. Maybe you spent a little time getting to know the measurement. Maybe you were tired to days up near the wire that Tops was talking to a customer, so you could learn something about the way he did it. Maybe you even worked the telephone or spent out some places or different mail of friends and relevance to tell them where you were working at what you were selling. Nobody had to tell how to do because if you have any businesses since you know those are things a salesman has got to do when he's started working at a new place, it's like ground opening. More important, you did those things because you had plenty of space time. There's nobody to talk to, nobody to bounty up to. Then after the while, you become one of the boys and stop doing most of the all that sport of thing. You are not the head of short anymore and you wonder what happened to that business you are doing when you first got there. Well, that's the way it goes. It's say to yourself some things you are hurt and some things you are not. Thrill of victory. Don't relive it. Very early in on my own career, I learned that lesson the hard way. Once I had nailed that bags and groceries to feed my family, I understood the value of our selling victory. First of all, there was that intermediate way to bring home food, but there was something more that then. Because in the first sales where was the special of thrill of making a sale itself. I had sold a few hours and every week in my days and aim as a builder, but they did not make much the real selling at the place I was asking and at those days of safe houses. But getting that Coca-Cola salesman to buy a coveted from the me was a real trump. Not only did I get the groceries and my communications, but I feel the experiment of the factory that every salesman experiences it as a real salesman. That was my first sale, and I gave to me confidence to try everything I could think to rake up a lot more. I don't know any of the other salesmen there, and I know they respond a new face because they saw me somebody there take away business from them. So I did not make any friends. Instead, I sold a lot of cars. In my first month, I sold 13, and in my second month, I sold 18. I was among the very top performers in that dealership at the end of my second month. Then I got fired. It's been a long time since that happened, but what I remember was that the other guy objected to my sales. They claimed that was I taking business away from them. What they really were objecting to, I think, was that I was a new guy with no post experience and I was doing as well or better than the other. Also, I was not very friendly to them, so I went to work at another dealership where I have been ever since. When I first got there, the sales manager told me that I'd do better if I don't spend to the time on floor beings planes and with the other salesmen. I had already begun to learn them, but I also know that there was no point it's making incomes of them. So I have tried to become careful about the ever since. They know that I operate differently from the way they do, and that I don't like to waste of my days in the drop ring, and they know that it's plays off for me. There are usual rings and it's between people working in the same place, but I have managed to work my way and still stay in the same place. Among the favorite topics of conversation of salesmen in my business are which dealership is the best, what wrong with the place they are working at, and how it's better somewhere else where their friend works. But I have stayed in the same place all those years business because the what the counts the most of the how you work, not where you work. We have a good location, but so don't most electric dealers and good dealers for that matter. And our pay plan is about as good as any other. So I have found that what counts is the most is how smart I work, which is even more important than how hard I work. When the rest of the guys go to lunch, they know that I hardly to ever will to go alone with them, because I have been other things to do when I got lunch with somebody. It's for good business reasons, not just to be good follow. I discuss whom I take to lunch, what I do, and why in another chapter. But just let me say right now that I am all businesses when I am working, whenever it seems like. The message I am trying to get across in this: don't join the club, and if you are in it, ace your way out because it will encourage other hate habits and wrong entities. Think of this. How many times when the sales manager is called a sales meeting, do you hear all the guys go and say, "Here comes another car session"? When I started selling cars, I don't know anything about selling cars or selling anything else. I went to meeting because I figured out I might them something, and you know what? I did not learn, and you may not like your sales manager, but he probably works a lot of selling. Though I will agree, the most of the films they show you are not very good. That's because they are mostly made by people who have never actually sold anything except films. Don't why I make and sell my own sales training films, because even though men are not looking companies who are buy them tell that men look they feel right about selling. Even so, the staff or manager would tell us at sales meeting made sense to me, and I figured out that he known more about selling than I have did, which was true in those days at latest, and I found that I did not what he had and those films said. If worked and I work get more businesses, whatever it was using a telephone, spreading out direct mail, anything would work. I did not into a lot. Later on I learned to do things even better way and even made up my own direct mail places, which worked better to me than theirs did. But what they had to say and what they told us to do was better than nothing, a lot better than nothing, and that is something you may not learn if you join the club. Because anybody who hang out with the boys all days is going to tell you how much businesses you can get just by using the telephone for the hour or even 10 minutes a day. And none of the businesses is going to say, "Don't listen to my spiked joke. Go your deck and write names and addresses in 10 places of direct mail and send them out every day, or you will in touch with 250 people every year who drive cars and will need another on someday." Most of the guys in the club, I think that all the businesses will need to walk the door every day. So they will never tell you what I know, that you can build the biggest business in the town without being in the club, because you cannot spend all your time getting people to come and ask for you and not just walk the door and wait for the guy who is up. A lot of salesmen do fairly well that way, as long as their luck holds out, but nobody can sell everybody. So the salesman who waits his turn has to take his chances, taking the odds in your favor. I don't like to take chances in my work. When I got to Las Vegas, I know what the odds are, and if you want to take chances, well, that's when I am there for. But I don't like to gamble with the working life and the security of my family. So I don't take chances in my work. I made my opportunities, and the most important ways to do that is to say out the club. In my neighborhood, we used to have extensions if that throw spread out against that well, some of the heads got to strike. Maybe that sense tell about throwing rise against that well, but however, it look at it. That is basic law of probabilities in our business. That's a lot different from just spending there with the boys and telling the luck of the draw. That means if you do a lot things a build business, they don't have to be done perfectly to work. Although the better you do them, the better they will work, but their main point is that you have to do them a lot, and you cannot what has to be done and done by orders in your favor unless you are stay out of the club. Okay, you ask, but what do you to get it started? If you can do a lot of different things, well, you get up to them, and you can pretty much pick where the works best for you. What fits your style and your personality, your interest, but the trick to do something. I have talked to a lot of people over the years of the lot of different types of selling. They are all pretty much agree that there is a lot of turnover among being salespeople. And the reason that is true is because also just about anybody can make a few sales at the start. What it can cause in case of the anything else. Everybody can buy on himself, sell on his father-in-law, and sell another on his best friend. After the third sale, a sales manager once told me, is when you know if your guy is the real salesman or not. What do you do after you have sold those easy ons? The people who buy because they want to help you. That's a big question about what we turn to now. Don't join the club. Instead, use your time to make opportunities. Thanks for listening.